right, now this next part is just some quick review. Solving equations. Now, I put a lot of different ones on there that we're not going to cover. And the reason why is I want to see how you do, and I want you to ask me questions when we're doing this. Very first one. What if I have an equation like this? The square root of 2x plus 5 minus 7 is equal to 4. Now, we reviewed that the other day. When you're looking at that, how would I solve that equation? One of the rational. Yes, ma'am.
Well, first add 7 to each side.
Very good. You add 7 to both sides. So that way I end up isolating the radical. Now what, Heidi?
Then square each side.
That's square each side. Square. When you square a square root, what comes out is what's underneath the radical sign. So I get 2x plus 5 is equal to 121. 11 squared. Subtract 5. 2x equals 116. Divide by 2. X equals 58. Hopefully that's our answer. And what I mean by hopefully, anytime you have radicals or fractions, you should always check your answer back into the problem. Now this is an algebraic context we're taking this, but we got to make sure this works. So just do a quick check. And a lot of you can do a mental check because you're pretty smart people. But all you have to do is plug in what you got originally. Does it equal 4? Well, 28, 2 times 58, excuse me, is 116 plus 5. Well, that's still 121. Minus 7. Oh, yeah, that's 11 minus 7 equals 4. Check. We did it right. Now, they don't always work. Did everyone just hear me on this? Sometimes you might get multiple answers. Always check. How do you know if something works or not? If you plug it back in, and you ever get a positive number equal to a negative or a negative underneath the radical or something that you cannot do, then it doesn't work. It doesn't mean you're mathematically incorrect with your solving abilities. It just means that one doesn't have a solution. Also remember this, fractions are okay answers. 0 is an answer. But always check it into the context of the problem. Luckily, this one works. But remember, always check it. Guys, remember doing that the other day? Also, another hint before we go on to another thing. If you have 2 fractions equal, or 2 what's called rational expressions equal, can we cross multiply to solve? Please don't forget proportions are our friend. Got it? Simple things like that. Don't freak out. Make sure you distribute carefully. Combine like terms carefully. Now, one other thing we're going to do is a quick review that you have to know. Systems of equations. Now, we got really good at doing these first semester, but we normally only use one form because there's 3 ways of doing this. You can either graph your 2 lines, and their intersection is your answer, which we didn't really do, right? Then you could use substitution method or elimination method, or they're called linear combination. So it's called addition method, blah, blah, blah. Whatever book you look at, you go with what it's titled that day. I call it elimination. And a lot of times in algebra, you would see it looking something like this. And then you have 2x plus y is equal to 10. And they'd put a bracket around it like this. And they'd say, solve the system of equations. In geometry, did I put the brackets around it? No. Did it still mean the same thing? When you use systems of equations, what clues you in is all of a sudden you have more than one variable when you're doing it. Now, looking at this one up here on the screen, could I use substitution to solve for it? You could. Okay, you could. I'm not. I'm going to use elimination this time. But substitution, as long as you have one of the variables you can easily solve for in either equation, you can do that. But we're going to use elimination. So, looking at this, which variable do you want to eliminate today? X or Y? You guys want to eliminate X? Okay. Remember, if you're doing the elimination process, you need them to be opposite coefficients. Here I have a positive 2x plus y equals 10, so I have a positive 2. What do I need this one up here to be? A negative what? Negative 2. So I take the top equation, and you multiply both sides by negative 2. So I rewrite it. Negative 2x plus 10y is equal to negative 30. Notice I'm writing the bottom one down. All right. Now what? What do I do with those two equations? You add them strictly together. And look what happens when you add these together. I get 20 over, a negative 20 over here. 10y plus y is what? 11y. And a negative 2x plus 2x are gone. We like it because all of a sudden, when I'm looking at this, I have this beautiful equation with one variable. Then I divide both sides by 11. So y is equal to a negative 20 over 11. I still have to solve for x. So now what do I do? Plug it into, does it matter which equation, by the way? I do one of the originals, but which one do you want to do, top or bottom? Yeah, it doesn't matter. I was going to see if one was nicer than the other, but not really. So let's just do the bottom one because I heard a few more on that one. So I'm going to get 2x plus a negative 20 over 11 is equal to 10. If I'm solving for x, what's the first thing I'm going to do? Yeah, I'm going to add 20 over 11. So I get 2x is equal to 10 plus 20 over 11. Now, guys, do I need to get a common denominator now? Shake heads, yes or no. Yeah, this time we're going to want a common denominator, which means I'm going to multiply both the numerator and denominator on this one by 11. So I get, hold on for a second, I'm going to explain something in a moment. I get 110 over 11 equals 20 over 11. 2x is 130 over 11. Are we done yet? No, I didn't need to divide both sides by what? 2. Well, that means I really can just write this in the denominator down below. I'm dividing by 2. X is going to be 65 over 11. My answer is an ordered pair. And yes, nasty fractions are true. Yes, sir?
Wouldn't it be 10 minus 20?
Because of the negative over here. Now, what if you hate fractions? Could I solve that without using fractions? Could I have gone ahead and multiplied this equation right here? What if I multiplied every single term by 11? Would that get rid of the fraction? As long as I did it to both sides, it'd be okay, and you wouldn't have to worry about the fraction until your final answer. You're fine either way. So just remember that. You're going to be fine either way. But you need to be able to do those. I really don't care if you use substitution or elimination method, just be able to solve a system of equations well. So that's your quick review for the day. Now we're going to work on homework in class. So let's